All right, thanks for checking out the video. This is just a quick one on succeeding in pre-calc, but really this should be any math class. This isn't just for pre-calculus. I guess I'm making it for pre-calc though because it's a bit more advanced than maybe some of you have previously experienced. So these are a couple things that I think you should keep in mind when you're trying to be successful in this class. And we haven't defined what success means, but we're just going to define it as learning as much as possible. Success might be a measure for your grade. Depends on what your personal goals are. But for me, I think it would just be learning as much as possible. And usually the grades take care of themselves when you do that. So first thing I'd say when you're encountering a class like pre-calculus is to use a variety of resources. Now this is especially true for any student that is learning today, whether you are 14 or 45 or 95. There's a lot of resources out there. One of them being YouTube, like this video, or we've got Khan Academy. There's all kinds of different types of videos online you can watch, but also just your calculator, your pencil, sharpener, whatever it is that you need to use. There's a lot of different resources, and I want you to make sure you have a variety. So those are your teacher, your peers are a great resource. There's a lot of different ways that you can learn, and I'm going to give you all of those resources as we go through, or hopefully your teacher will. If not, look for my blog. I'll show you that at the end. Second thing I'd say to keep in mind is you really need to be having neat and clean work, like when you're going through problems. And that's going to be really important because they're going to be longer problems. So you're going to have to, in other words, there's going to be a lot of steps. And you're not going to be able to just remember every step in your head like maybe you have in the past. Which means you're going to need to use a lot of paper. Now, obviously conserve as much as you can when you can, but look, you're going to need to write a lot. You're going to need multiple pages, and you're going to need places to do that. So plan it now. Get your notebook in order. Graph notebook is fantastic, but make sure it's neat, make sure it's clean so that you can understand what's happening in each step. They're complicated things that we're going to go through, and you're going to need the room to do that. All right, so make sure you set yourself up for success in the beginning with that. Third thing, this is a really important one. I actually stole this piece of advice from Malcolm Gladwell. He did a podcast with a guy named Tim Ferriss, and he said that his father, who had a PhD in mathematics, would always ask questions. So the story that he told was that he grew up in Canada, and all of his neighbors were farmers, and they didn't really have high education. But Malcolm's father would always ask a lot of questions. He was very interested in what they did. So he didn't view himself as like this super smart guy in the sense that he was too afraid to ask a question. So do not be afraid to ask obvious questions, and ask them all the time. Chances are somebody else has the same question, but we're all in this together, right? We all need to understand, so ask questions. I ask questions. There's no shame in it, and this is how you learn. So ask questions. Ask obvious questions as well. Last thing, check your answers. Maybe that's obvious. I have no idea. Check your answers in the back of the book. Check your answers online. There's resources to do that. Check your answers with your peers. Check your answers with your teacher. As many places as you can, and use them. If there's an answer there, did you get it right? Is the book wrong? Because that's happened before. So figure out and understand why, and then you can go back and ask those obvious questions, right? How did they get it? Maybe you were right. Maybe you were right there, and you just didn't simplify something. So ask those questions. And then the last thing I'd say is, with all of this stuff, if you keep those things in mind, certainly there's other stuff you have to do. Use my blog, which is my website, mathisart11235.com. And sorry, that's kind of complicated to remember, but it's really not bad. If you're in pre-calculus, you should definitely be able to just type that in, right? Bookmark it and click on pre-calc. I will list a bunch of different things in there. Anyone that's watching this video can go and it's not perfect, but it's a place for resources. There's other classes in there as well. And basically that's it. So good luck.